I normally don't do a lot of things like this, at least not anymore, and I wanted to do something special because it's Mother's Day, and I can't physically give my mother a gift, but I want to kind of do this for her. And I have a little backstory to tell before I do it. I actually wrote this song quite a long time ago. Haven't shared it with a whole bunch of people. It's one of my most personal songs I've ever written, but it's about the experience I had and will have. And after my mom died, I couldn't sleep. I'm trying to give an abbreviated story, so if you want to know more, I have another video that I videoed before this, and it took me like 10 minutes to tell the story. So I'm trying to make an abbreviated video. So I'm going to leave out a lot of stuff. So if you're one of those that wants to know all that, I'll give you the other video. But basically, I couldn't sleep at all. I was having horrible, tormenting dreams about her dying different ways or being a zombie. It's like my brain couldn't figure out how, I couldn't reconcile her being dead. And one night when I couldn't sleep, I just asked God to please give me sweet sleep, that He promised perfect peace if we set our minds on Him. And so that's what I did, and I went to sleep, and it was for the first time ever. I don't remember trying or laying there to go to sleep, and I had a dream about my mother. And if you want to call it a dream, it was the most real dream that I've ever experienced. She was sitting beside me. We were talking about her funeral, and if you went to her funeral, you remember her funeral. It was a church service, but it wasn't planned that way. It was just that it was such a time of celebration of her life and the difference she has made in people's life and her testimony. And we sang a song called "There Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down," and my dad literally, who is normally very reserved in worship, danced in front of her casket in worship, and it was just a really different experience. And I remember the feeling I had literally on my skin. I remember looking down at my arm and being like, that's crazy. Like, I know that I've always grown up in a Christian home where I didn't just feel God's presence in church, but I felt it at home. Like, I'm familiar with God's presence. What is this feeling? This is different. This is more. And I remember just being so thankful for the amount of peace and even joy He gave us in that really hard time. And so in her funeral, in my dream, I was telling her all about it. And she said, yeah, I know, I was there, I saw it. And then I said, but Mama, the feeling that I had, the presence of God was so strong. It was unlike anything I ever experienced. I could feel it in my bones and like energy going through me. And it was overwhelming, the presence of God that I felt. And she turned to me and put her hand on my shoulder and said, oh, to live in it. And it's like it hit me. She lives in that, like that feeling that we just hope to feel when we're in God's presence. That, you know, like if you're ever like a God's presence junkie, where you just want to go to service after service and feel that presence, or if you just want to get in your prayer closet with God and feel that presence of God. And I know it's not all about the chill bumps, but we're thankful that we can feel God's presence when He meets us like that. And so she was saying that she lives in that constantly for eternity. And you know, I thought about God's presence being, I've always said we'll be in His presence in heaven, or Jesus will be there, and I've always pictured Jesus on the throne and millions upon millions circled around the throne worshiping Him. But I never really thought about how it would feel like that, like the presence of God that we feel in a worship service when it really gets like almost tangible. That feeling never leaves her. And if you've ever been overwhelmed by God's presence like that, that's an amazing thought, to think about the fact that we would literally feel God for eternity when we're in heaven, that we would live in His presence continuously. And that gave me so much peace. And after that, I had no more bad dreams, like no more nightmares. I had complete peace. And it was just such an awesome way that God encouraged me and spoke to me during that time and gave me peace. So after that, I wrote this song called "Oh, to Live in It." And it took me about 7 years to write it completely, because it's the most personal song I've ever written. And so I haven't shared it in a place like this before. Close friends and a few people have heard it, but I want to share it today for my mom, but also for anyone who has lost their mother, and maybe today is hard. Mother's Days and birthdays and Christmases and stuff like that, they are hard. Even 12 years later, there's moments where it feels very new and very hard. So I know Mother's Day can be hard for some people, and it has its moments of being difficult for me. And this is one way I would like to not make it difficult. I would like to celebrate her and not just mourn her every year on those special days. And also, if you're a mom who's lost a child, and I know there's been a mother friend of mine who has lost a child just recently, and I just want to dedicate this to her too, because she is a mother to me, and has been even more so in the past than recently, but she kind of took my mother's place, and that is a strong thing to say because nobody can take your mama's place. But Michelle Creel definitely was that person to me there for a while, for a long time, in helping me get to the place that I will see my mama again, so that heaven is going to be a reality for me. And I owe a lot of that to Michelle Creel, and I want to dedicate this to her today because she recently lost her son, and even though Blake and I were not close, I understand a little bit of what it feels like to go through your kid being sick on a very different level than her. But and Michelle, if you're listening to this and you see this, I just want you to know that I love you, and I'm praying for you, and I want this song to encourage you. And I know that you already know this because you would tell me these same words, that we are going to be with them again one day. And so anyways, I'm going to stop talking because now this video is just as long as the other one that I was trying not to post. But here we go. My voice is messed up and I haven't played in a million years, so it's not going to be pretty, but I just hope it encourages someone.